Welcome to your conscious community with lifelong friends who are twinning an energy as holistic healers, psychic mediums, and life coaches. And we are here to normalize spirituality. I'm Amy Dascola.
And I'm Dara Jewett.
And we are the Soul Tribes. This week, we are vibing out with comedian Melissa Shoshahi, and I'm just going to let her right in. Hi, Melissa.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, ladies?
Good. We're so happy to have you. And I'm going to let Dara introduce you because you guys have a little connection, a little cosmetic connection, I've heard.
Yeah, we do. I just want to say you guys look so gorgeous today. You're glowing. You're glowing. I'm
Thank
thank
you
for having me on your podcast. So this
you
is
know
really
it's all about the highlighter, girl.
the highlight. I know.
Highlight.
It is.
And you look like you're very intellectual with all the books behind you. Yeah.
I read.
You girl, well-read girl, and we read you. So I mean, it's a perfect combination.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I can't hide anything because you guys can read me.
Literally.
Oh,
so you know when you meet someone around the way, and when I say around the way, she's not the around the way girl, but around the cosmetics floor, okay?
Yeah.
And you just vibe out with her. That was Melissa. I met her when I was working for Shantakai in LA, and literally we just met around the way at the cosmetic counter. She was also a traveling artist working for another line, and we just vibed. And I didn't even know she was a comedian. She was just one of those really, really dope, cool people. And I was like, yes. And I was like, girl, you are so funny, because she would just make me crack up at work. And I'd be like, I love your energy. I really think that you should be a comedian. And that's how I found out. She's like, girl, I am. And I have a show coming up. So I was like, oh my God, she's so talented. So this woman is a world famous comedian. She's actually been to London. She has so many views on social media. She's been doing stand-up for quite some time, but she's also, since Corona, really been going into her own zone and creating these hilarious skits. And you really, really have to tune in. But she's just equally as beautiful on the inside as she is out. And she's an award-winning comedian. She's actually also an actress. She's a writer, and she's been in amazing partnerships, not only as a comedian, but also taking a stance on her platform, which is really speaking about epilepsy. So she's just so well-rounded. She's known for her spot-on, basically Kim Kardashian impressions. And if you do get a chance to look at them, you will definitely laugh your ass off. Like, I don't know, Amy, if you've checked them out, but she is so hilarious. Her mother impressions also have me dying.
I've seen the mother impression.
Have you seen the mother?
I'm Italian, so to me it's like a certain ethnicity,
and the father's been coming in.
We're all one. And oh my God, hilarious, girl.
I'm getting so uncomfortable with all this kindness and hearing this bio. It's just you know, it's so sweet. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. But you know, when somebody speaks about you, you're like, you know.
Well, plus you're so humble. Like, she really is this humble girl from Seattle who's really made it big. She's one of the first and biggest Iranian women comedian. Like, that's huge in her culture. You know, it's really more about becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer. And like, she even brings this into her skits. And it's just so hilarious how she takes her culture and utilizes it to shed light on things, but in an upbeat, light-hearted way. So you just want to laugh with her. You're just such a strong, powerful, confident woman. And I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much for joining us, Melissa. And
thank you just so much. That was like the most epic bio. If I'm ever feeling down, I'm going to just hit up Dara and be like, can you repeat what you said that day?
Girl,
I mean, we are here basically to make your head explode and your heart explode. I mean, that's why we're life coaches. We just fill you up, sister. That's it. We're here.
That was so much. And you know what's really interesting? I don't find myself like at that peak or success. I just find myself every day just working, and I'm always trying to strive, but it's so weird for somebody else to look at me and think I'm successful when every day I'm really trying to be successful. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yes.
but even in 2018, you were WhoHa's top female comedian. Like, you won an award for this, girl. You've been featured on Laughs on Fox, like literally Nickelodeon, Fusion TV, like you're all over the place. You really are so established, but you're just this amazing soul. And you just really emanate this aspect of being able to really embody your purpose and your passion.
Thank you, Dara. Thank you. So sweet. So sweet.
And I love that, you said like you just are on this road to success, but it's the fact that you created what you wanted. And that's why you are becoming successful, and you're on that path and you're in that flow. So it's like, no, you're never done. You're constantly going and trying and empowering yourself to do better. So I think that kind of goes with our topic today. Our modality is a little bit different. This week, we're going to speak on boundaries. And I think it's something that's so important, and it's something that can be either too loose or sometimes too tight. And people forget that it can kind of go both ways. And I also think with those boundaries, we have issues of, if we're trying to control things, nothing can flow. Just as like we were speaking on with her, everything's in flow for her. And once you kind of find those boundaries, you realize the more you let go, the more things kind of flow well, right?
Absolutely.
Yep, I agree 100%. Yeah.
So boundaries really are just establishing those clear lines of, where one thing begins and where another thing ends. It's really taking responsibility and getting clear about yourself, what you want, what you're comfortable with, and staying clear and communicating these, being very thorough to other people, because other people don't understand unless you tell them what your boundaries are, because everyone's are going to be different. We have different types of boundaries, and because of the way we've been raised, because of our experiences, all of our boundaries are going to be different. So unless we share these boundaries with those that we love, those that we work with, just those that we interact with, friendships, people won't know. So there's different kinds of boundaries. And we really want to feel safe in all of our boundaries, physical boundaries, being talking about that personal space, whether or not in a relationship you're going to move in with someone or not. Also public displays of affection. This can also touch on physical abuse. In friendship or relationship, it's even just proximity. And sometimes I'm sure that you've had the friends that will sit like right next to you, and it's like they're almost like breathing their hot breath down your neck. And then the ones that sit so far away from you, and it's just like, you can come closer, it's fine. But everyone has those comfort levels in the physical boundaries. Then we go into the emotional boundaries. And this is really hard for empaths, because it's knowing where your feelings end and where someone else's begin. Because a lot of times you can absorb other people's emotions. And just in general, a lot of people, I think, feel that. You'll get in an argument with someone and you will have been in a really peaceful place, and then all of a sudden you get upset and you get angry because you're taking on their emotions. And maybe that was stemming from something that happened at work, so it didn't even have anything to do with you. So really, again, speaking your truth. Then there's sexual boundaries. These are talking about what you're okay with, what you're not okay with, how you want to be touched, how you want to be spoken to, with whom you want to do what and how often. And you really have to be clear about these things, I would say, up front in a relationship, because the longer you wait, the more confusion and uncomfortable things can happen later. Plus, you want to always feel safe. And then also we're going to go into intellectual, which I love. Melissa has all of her books right behind her. And it's not only about reading, but it's also really respecting those ideas and beliefs in the knowledge that you read. So everyone is going to have different perspectives on what they absorb. And we're going to apply those tools into our lives in different ways. And we need to respect each other's values and belief systems and say, even though I don't necessarily agree with what you're doing or what you're saying, I still respect you, and those are your beliefs and your values. And I want you to be happy, overall. Financial boundaries, of course, in work, with partners, in relationships, having clear boundaries of whether or not you're going to have shared finances, how money will be spent, and just be clear about your financial goals. And then also, last, but of course, definitely not least, is time boundaries, which I know Amy has spoken a lot about before, and just setting those really clear, concise boundaries of when you're going to work, when you're going to give time to yourself for self-love, to your friends, to family, and just honor those commitments, but make sure that it's all in alignment with yourself, and you can say no. And a lot of people, that especially women that were givers, we have a really hard time saying no when someone asks for help, but that goes along with our time boundaries. So it's okay to say no.
Wow. She just listed all the boundaries.
Yes.
Girl, you can't do anything
like,
after she said that.
That was amazing. She needs to give a TED talk on boundaries.
Oh my God. So,
yeah.
So Amy, how do you deal with boundaries, girl?
Well, my biggest one, especially as a mom who works at home with her child in the next room, and does things like this where you cannot have people coming in. You can't, I give readings. It would not be good if I have my 5-year-old right here. Like, there's a lot of boundaries that need to be in place. And another thing, like energetic workers, we take on a lot of things energetic wise. And if we do not create clear and concise boundaries, you do not have energetic hygiene, is what it's called. So it's literally like, we have to work at keeping our energy clear. So that can be done by like regulating your emotions, regulating your time, regulating who's around you. Because as an empath, you suck up people's energy, whether you want it or not. And I literally do like this exercise. It's kind of, I don't know what you would think or call it, but it's like a visualization. So I literally, like, you visualize your aura around you, right? And you can kind of like, it can go behind you almost like 10 feet. And so you think about who's touching it and like who's in your proximity. And when you're in a big city, think about how many energies are able to penetrate your bubble. So I literally, when I go out into big spaces, I almost like call it in. And I bring it in so people do not have access to it. And it's also making that conscious choice of being like, not for you. This is for me, and allowing people to have access to you. So it may not seem like that's something that's feasible, but it is. And trust me, as an energetic worker, I can't let everyone have access to me. And it doesn't just mean for an energetic worker, that's for everyone. You tell people how to treat you. You show people how to treat you, So if you're just laissez-faire and just letting everyone, do what they will with you, they're going to do what they will with you. And then you're going to be without, you're going to be drained, you're going to be, this. So I just think it's really important to decide what is too much for you. And then like with time, I really time block, like certain days I only have my coaching clients, certain days I only do readings, certain days I only do the podcasts. Like our day to do the podcast is today. So by defining those clear boundaries, and it's probably like also the teacher in me with the scheduling, it helps me to stay clear. And then something Melissa was kind of wanting to speak on is like letting go. Like once you finally define everything and really put those boxes, those details, those intricate things that will attract good things as well, you then realize, I've got this all set up. Now the only thing to do is just let it up to the universe. And it's like the minute you let go, things will come in that will blow your mind. This week, one of my best friends, who I've always wanted to have her become a mother. She was unable to have children. And for years and years, she's gone every which way, trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to do this. Nothing worked. Trying to even have a family member have her baby, so deep, This week, she adopted a baby. She was called 1 month ago, and someone, I have chills everywhere, just said, basically the universe is like, okay, girl, it's your turn. It's your turn, and this baby is for you. So it just really spoke to me this week. Oh God, I just have chills everywhere. It spoke to me this week, like that minute you finally just like, I don't know what they say, let go to let God or whatever. Once you finally get to that point, the universe is here. Every single thing that you could imagine that you don't even think you're worthy of is here for you. So I just thought it was a beautiful, point to setting those boundaries, defining your time, defining your space, and the universe shows up.
I agree. It's almost like, all those relationship advice that people give as well, when people are trying so hard to find that special person. I want a special person. And then finally, when you give up, you let it go. You're like, oh, I'm over it. I don't need anybody. I can't find anybody. They find somebody.
That's it, girl. Exactly.
And it's just because you want something so bad, which means that you lack it. And then the universe thinks that you are needy. So but the thing is, with letting go, I feel like it's, for me personally, I feel like it's a daily practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you want something every day, you're striving for something, right? But then consciously you have to remember to not give it so much attention, like not put everything on a pedestal. I think it's a daily practice to let go.
Yeah, I totally agree, because it's also like, if you're trying to attract, like, let's say that partner or whatever it is, but then you're also have the other side of you, like the shadow of feelings of like, oh, I'm not worthy, this, and all that like inside talk that goes on. And in turn, then you're attracting that, all the negativity is then being attracted. But when you finally let go, just like you said, and like, I am worthy, I'm so good, I'm alone, I'm fine. And then once all that beautiful energy is out in the universe, that beautiful energy is met with the same thing. So I think it's so powerful with that.
Yeah.
So Dara, what is your boundary shtick? What is it about boundaries that you're really into, or that you've needed to work on?
Well, Melissa, you really hit it on the head for me, because it really goes, I think, into interpersonal relationships. I'm actually in a new relationship now. So yes, and it's actually going really well. I'm very excited and very grateful. And what you said about letting go, it truly is. I had this moment that I was walking on the beach in Santa Monica. It was probably 2-3 months into Corona apocalypse. And I had this moment with spirit on the beach where all of a sudden I didn't need for anything. Not a person, not a relationship, not even to save the world and heal the world. I just, at that moment, became completely at peace and completely filled up. And I believe that it was because I really have spent the last few years for myself working on boundaries, which has always been such a challenge for me. I'm a people pleaser. And so I want love so much. I always wanted it so much. I had so much to give, and I would not secure my boundaries in order to appease somebody else in hopes that I would be receiving the love that I dreamed of, when I didn't realize that first I had to completely love myself. And so I think my journey of self-love and really going in, I mean, it's been a very long journey. I went through it in my 20s and my 30s. I feel like I'm still going through it, and I don't know if it will ever end. And I think that the more I love myself, the more I'm able to create these boundaries. And I think that's part of the reason why I was able to attract this relationship. And it hasn't been easy, because obviously there's going to be ups and downs of every situation, and figuring out what are my boundaries and how do I communicate them in a healthy way? How do I make sure that I'm getting what I need and still being able to give my partner what they need? And then balancing my work in my clients in, starting a podcast, starting a coursework, doing all these things. We're working on a couple more projects too. And it was just then the time constraints and boundaries of, I'm in gypsy mode right now. So right now I'm kind of floating through the universe with this new love relationship, which is a beautiful thing, but then figuring out how do I still, you know, get everything done when it needs to get done and be there for my clients when they need me to be there for them. And also being able to honor myself and have cutoff times, because I used to do readings. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll do a Reiki session at 11:30 at night. I'll do a reading at 11:30 at night. And I'd be like, because that's the time that they had, and I just wanted to be there for them. And then I was like, no, I can't do that anymore, because I can't be what they truly need in essence for themselves, because I'm not even being in essence for my own
Well,
self.
and you just don't, you only have so much energy. Like if you're doing it at 11:30 at night, you know, it takes a lot of energy to do any sort of healing or reading or whatever. And then you're depleted and you don't have enough for your clients.
So yeah, so all of these have been, boundaries has just been such a huge part of my life lately. And I'm so grateful that you wanted to talk about not only boundaries, but also letting go, because it really was that moment where it was like, I'm good. Like I am completely whole. I'm completely filled with love. I have so much love for myself and for the universe that I'm really not searching for anything in anyone. And now I can just be living in my truest purpose every day. So, which is what you're doing. I mean, I just can't wait for people to get a load of her comedian like presence. This girl will have you cracking up. And for me, I think it also hits a chord because she talks about things from the cosmetic field that if you've ever worked in retail or the cosmetic field, like there are certain things that it's like, oh my God, like for real, like this client, da, 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 da. And we love you. We love everybody. We love all of our clients, but there are some things that are funny. And she just hits on the head. Like she just
I have
like,
nightmares. I have nightmares from when I used to work at that gig. I really
but you got a lot of good
yeah, I
good
do.
inspiration.
But oh my gosh, the customers that would come in. I remember a girl, and this was like a girl that would kind of go to different stores. She was like a repeat, and she would like try to get samples from every store and like pretend like we didn't recognize her. But as vendors, we travel to different stores. So we knew like, okay, you were in Santa Monica, now you're in Century City. Like we know. Anyway, so one day this girl was like looking for eye cream, and she comes up, and she didn't come to me, but I love observing people. And so I love observing people's characters. So she found this poor girl that worked there, and she's like, oh, I need an eye cream. And the girl's like, oh, well, there's this. And the whole time she's like, can you show me? And she's like, yeah. So she takes her there, and then she explains something there. Oh, can you show me? Like literally for an hour, the only word that she knew how to say was, oh, nice. Can you show me? Can you show me? Can you show me? And then afterwards, like after wasting that girl's time for 1 hour, she's like, can you give me samples of all of them? It's just,
oh my God. You're like, really?
Nightmare. But then, you know, you
And
just
it's the
appreciate when
truth,
you don't
though,
have
it
that job
happens.
anymore.
So,
But now
I mean,
you have
heard,
oh my God, the
Excuse me.
natural girl. Now you have all these natural girl skits though. And it's hilarious.
You know, yeah, I mean, I'm always on the search to do more characters, so I'm working on that, but I just right now started from my culture, and I'd like to spread it out. But I've done one, you know, with the healing, you know, and I want to do more. And that really just came from my own personal interests, you know.
right.
I follow on YouTube. I have two favorite YouTubers that I listen to that are all about spirituality and manifesting, and they have such great messages, but then also a part of their messages is selling their class, and then they're selling this, and then they're selling that, and then they're doing this, and they're like millionaires. So I was like, I have to make fun of this, you know?
Of course.
So, yeah.
But it's normalizing it, and it's allowing people, because a lot of people think that those things are taboo. And anytime anything is taboo to talk about, it doesn't become mainstream because people are still afraid to talk about it. But just you talking about the healers and it's bringing comedy brings so much light to dark topics. It brings light to the shadow. Like there's one comedian from South Africa, Trevor Noah, I believe.
Trevor Noah. Oh my God,
yes,
I love him.
I do too. He's amazing. And he's literally talking about South Africa and the part that like how horrible it is. But because he talks about it with comedy, like not only do you get a political lesson, but it's delivered with a little bit of sugar, so it's easier to digest. Yeah. And it just, that's what you do as well. So like really speak to that aspect. Like how did, you know, your journey get you here as, especially, you know, being this gorgeous, fabulous Persian woman? Like, how did you become a comedian?
Honestly, it was accidental. I always wanted to do acting. Yeah, you know, and I wasn't getting anything, and I always wanted to do funny stuff. And one of my friends, who was booking a lot of acting gigs, and he was doing great stuff like comedy, TV shows. And I was like, what's, you know, do you recommend anything for me? And he's like, you know, why don't you try stand up? You know, try to work on your funny bone and just go from there. Cause his wife was doing stand up at that time. And I was like, okay. So, I mean, I was already taking acting classes. So I was like, okay, let me try stand up. And I had a lot of friends that were doing stand up. And so I did it, and it was really accidental. I just wanted to see where, if I could, you know, express my humor or personality, whatever it was. And then from there, I kept getting like a small gig here, a small gig there. And I had a lot of friends that were really at that point, like up and coming Middle Eastern male comics. Like they were really on their way up at that point. And there was no, in LA especially, there was no female Middle Eastern comedian. There was not. And so a lot of them wanted to work with me or have me open for them or have me feature for them. So within 2 years of me doing stand-up, I was touring with these people, you know, but this was 11 years ago, where it's so different now. The competition is a little bit more fierce. Like it's harder to dive in right now as a new comic, but definitely not discouraging anybody. Do whatever you love. But it was just a different world, honestly, 11 years ago. And then now there's so many other Middle Eastern female comedians, which I think is amazing. And that was always kind of my goal, you know, to inspire others. And I don't say as Persian, I really I expand it to any culture that feels depressed or scared as a woman to go on stage, or it's taboo for them, or, oh my God, what will my family think? What will my friends think? Because that is the main thought, you know, because you're supposed to go to law school, you're supposed to become an engineer, you're not supposed to get on stage and be funny. That's kind of bringing shame to the family. Yeah,
I do understand that. For me to do this podcast was a challenge for me to be honest and come out about things that, as Amy and I coined, like in the broom closet, you know, and it's being raw.
And just being, you know, everyone just coming to who we are. Like, this is it. So why are we hiding it? Why not do everything you want to do? And why not speak to it? Like my mantra for the past year has just been like, why not? I mean, for what? What am I hiding? What is this? There's nothing. So we're focusing on boundaries today. So for you, as you were just speaking on, Melissa, like you had a lot of things that you kind of had to face that were not of the norm for your culture as a woman. I mean, a lot of different things, but what would you say, like the boundaries for you that were challenging to establish, and what did you have to do to kind of create them? along your path?
Man, I mean, I too, you know, my 20s and up to, I don't know, 30, I mean, still, I mean, I've been working on it. I've been a people pleaser, and it's been
Mm,
really, really tough. And then honestly, this past year, quarantine, I really, truly cut a lot. And because confrontation is really hard for me,
mm,
really hard. And I worked on that. And that confrontation is a part of boundaries, because you're
yes.
confronting the situation and then you're setting the boundary that, hey, this isn't good for me. This is how I feel, and I need to separate myself. And once I did that, I honestly feel like I'm in a better space. And like you said, Amy, like the aura of my energy is protected. I feel like I was giving my energy to I was spreading it to
Exactly.
too many people that just I thought were good, but it was actually very negative, and I wasn't listening to my instincts, you
Mm,
know? And I feel like once I truly set that boundary, and it was really hard, really hard. I even was in therapy for like 3 years, and my therapist, at first it started with setting boundaries with my parents, and then
mhm.
setting boundaries with certain people. But it's been really tough when you're a people pleaser and you're scared of confrontation.
That's a lot, girl. Good for you for
Mhm.
being able to like define that, and just, and I think it's interesting how you said like you started with your parents. And the one thing is like once you do it in the hardest place, then it just kind of flows. And if something doesn't feel right, you listen to yourself and you're like, no, I need it this way. And I, expect it this way. But the problem is, just because we tell someone something, that doesn't mean they have to listen. So that's got to be tough for you if it's a confrontation issue. So then how do you kind of deal with it? I mean, have you had that happen to you where they're like, sorry, okay.
Oh, none of them took it well. Oh my God. It's really interesting. When I set boundaries with certain people, they called me, what is the term? All those horrible things. What is it? Like a sociopath? What is the word where narcissist.
Oh
When I
yeah.
set boundaries, I'm a narcissist. I've been called that this past couple years. When I set boundaries, I actually escaped, literally ran from an abusive relationship, blocked the guy. He was
Oh, God
stalking me.
bless, girl.
And, I was apparently a narcissist. And
No, they were the narcissist calling
but
you the narcissist. That's what
it's
that was.
it's just, setting that boundary, like, you cannot scream at me, you cannot do this to me. But I the past year, the past 2 years, it's really, really changed my life for the better, for the better.
Yeah. I'm so proud of you, girl, because it is very challenging. And
Mhm.
especially when you're in a relationship. I
Mhm.
mean, that wanting to have that person by your side, and you want to look at the good things and you don't really want to see the bad things, but because you were doing that work, you were able to set those boundaries and then let go of that which wasn't serving you for the highest good, which is, I think, what a lot of people struggle with, is that
Yes.
letting go factor.
Mhm.
And they just want to hold on to something so tight, even though it might not be right. And then their hands are full of something that isn't going to bring them ultimate joy or health or safety, because when the hands are full, we can't receive any other blessings. So, how did learning to let go really help you in your life, not only in this relationship and getting over, congratulations. I'm so grateful that you got out of
Yeah,
that abusive
girl.
relationship, girl.
Yes.
Mhm.
Um,
Celebrate yourself for that,
yes,
please.
seriously.
And what's
But then
so
just in
funny
life.
what's so funny with that is like when you tell like my parents, they're like, my parents are so funny. They're like, what's wrong with you? You're so mean to men, you know? Don't understand. Like, well, when a guy doesn't treat you right, you leave. My
That's
dad's
it.
like, your mom never treats me right. I'm still here, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I think with letting go, what was your question again with letting go? Because we're talking
Just,
about letting go in
you
general.
know, just like it's commending you for letting go. And how does letting go really help you in life? Just whether it be letting go of the judgments of your family and what society or your community thinks that you should be like as a woman, or letting go of a relationship that's not serving you, or of a job that maybe you're not so happy with, so that you can focus on. The art of letting go is so powerful. So how has the art of letting go really helped you to manifest this amazing dream life that I know so many actors and comedians are looking at you like, oh my God, she's so amazing. How do I get there? I mean, seriously, the girl needs a Netflix special. Hello, hashtag Netflix. Seriously, she's so funny. But
It's so
how has it
crazy,
gotten
Dara.
you here?
It doesn't feel like it's a dream life for me. You know, it's just not, to me, it's not a dream life, but I am grateful. You know, that's not to say I'm not grateful. Every day I'm grateful. Uh, Letting go, there's so many aspects to it, right? A job you don't like, a relationship you don't like. I think the core to it is working on yourself. You know, when you work on yourself, focus on yourself. If I set a boundary with a family member or they're mad at me, well, you can't control their emotion. You can't control the story they have on you, right? So you have to let go of the of what they're feeling. You know, you can't control their energy towards you, so you just have to focus on yourself and just trust that the process, it's daily. You know, I'm no guru here. It's really daily, honestly. And sometimes it's hard for me, and I'll have a good month or I'll have a good week, and then it's like up and down and up and down, and that's for every artist and every person. But one thing for me is, and I struggle with it a lot, you know, is letting go with social media. You know, that's really hard. Like, I'll be like, oh, well, this person, or I didn't get that many likes on this, and oh, maybe I'm not doing what people want me to do, and I'm losing followers, and you know, these artists are doing so well, and what are they doing, and what am I not doing? And it's like a daily struggle with that, you know. And then I just have to focus on myself. I have to focus on putting out content for myself, and every day I have to say, well, what makes me laugh, and just put that out for myself. And then I've limited going on social media. Like, I'll post and then not look at other people's stuff. So that for me has been the hardest, letting go
I think
of
that's
that.
so important. Yeah, I think it's so important, like, to create those, you know, energetic boundaries for yourself. Like, okay, this doesn't feel good for me. So if something doesn't feel good, that's what you put the boundary around. Like, thinking about, you know, we think of it just as like relationships or this, but it's around consumption. Like, you have to put boundaries on what you're consuming. Like, for me, I had to like shut the news off in April, and I haven't been able to turn it back on, even through the election. Well, I guess especially through the election, but like, I'm normally a very like liberal Democrat, I shut it off. Like, and I had to turn myself off. And the same, you know, a lot of people struggle with social media, like with a worthiness. And what we have to focus in on is, I can't tell you how many beautiful people I have met through social media and how many networks it's created for me. And so you have to, you know, for people that are creating content, what Melissa was speaking to is like, you have to sometimes just post and put it down, because otherwise you do get in that like almost imposter syndrome, and like, am I good enough? Or maybe I'm not. No, you just have to shut it off and say to yourself, okay, what do I need? What is my purpose? My purpose is to come across and to help people, Your purpose is to come across and make people laugh. So maybe you're not for someone, but we are medicine for specific people, and those energies will be attracted into our wheelhouse. And those are the people that we're for. But we can't be a competition against ourselves, because then your energy is just off. So Melissa, I love that you spoke to that and just kind of stated like how your whole thing is to feel good. So I want you to kind of speak more a little bit about like with comedy. I feel, to me, especially as an empath and in the type of work I do, it's very hard for me to turn on a drama unless it's about aliens or Real Housewives. I don't want to watch it. So for me, I go to comedy because it's light, it's easy, it feels good. And I just want you to speak on how you think comedy has been healing for you, because it is for me.
I mean, I personally, it's healing for me to know that I am healing others, if that makes sense.
I love that.
Yes.
And that's always been my goal. I write down like my goals, and every day I start with, starting in the present tense, right? And my goal is that I inspire millions of people through my comedy and heal their souls if they're going through something.
That.
So that makes me happy, so I always focus on that aspect of it. And then I have, because we all have down days, and my boyfriend made me do this because sometimes he sees my down days. I do have really nice messages from people, and so I screenshot them, and then I have an album on my phone. So I go through it and I see that I've helped somebody, or somebody says, oh, I went through a divorce and you really helped me, and I watched that. And so those little things, and maybe I won't be on HBO, right? But that's a success for me. I can die knowing that I helped these people.
Absolutely. I love
I'm
that.
getting this real amazing vibe from you right now also, that I feel you are a light worker, Melissa. I feel like you are a healer, and I feel like all healers have to find their modality in what way they touch the lives of people. And spirit is just like coming through right now, really saying, I mean, if you didn't know this already, I really feel that you are a healer and part of that lightworker community. And this is your gift to uplift. And you are living that, because girl, you make me laugh. Like seriously, you really do. I'm not just talking you up. You really are like someone that I can go through, and I can watch Melissa for like 2 hours. And usually that never happens because I'm not on social media like that ever. But like I can go into a Melissa hole. I've done it like twice. And I'm just saying, she's that amazing. And I think maybe it's that connection also, is that you do want to heal people, and you're bringing it from that place. And thank you so much for being raw, because I think people see comedians as, oh my God, they're so funny, they must have these amazing lives and this and that, and it's always happy. And really what you're saying is sometimes from your struggles and from your traumas, in order to help you heal from it, and then of course, if you went through it, maybe it will help other people heal, and just utilizing that. So thank you so much for being raw and being honest and sharing your light, because you're so amazing. So yes, if you ever need to pick me up, you can call me, you can FaceTime me. I will like praise you. I will make a video for you.
I know. Dara.
What is that? Love cookie grams.
That's it. Dara does.
Remember, Amy, what are they called that you give in school? The love grams, the happy grams?
Oh my God. Yes. I can't even remember, but yeah, Dara and I went to high school together, and they would like send. Yeah. Yes. We've been friends since we were 12. We were in like a naughty girl support group.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh, That's
I
so
know.
special. I have two girlfriends that I've been friends with since elementary. It's really special.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is. It
Mhm.
is. Yeah. It's a gift to like
Yeah.
be able to still know each other and now like work together at this capacity. It's kind of wild,
And
honestly.
he's twinning in so many things. It's like,
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, my spirits say to tell you, oh, she'll be, oh, my spirits say to tell you. It's just kind of like these amazing interactions where we can be as alien as we like around each other.
Yeah.
Because
No
we're
judgment.
normal here.
Exactly. So yeah,
And-
we're just trying to normalize all of this for everyone. So
Normalize
it's,
spirituality.
yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. So I've gotten a couple readings before, and each time I actually just got one like a month ago for the first time in like years. Actually, my mom goes to Iran every like 3 years, and they have crazy psychics there. I mean, I don't even know. Like my mom just they don't look at anything. They don't have cards or anything. They even just, you don't even tell them your name. You ever meet those psychics where they're like, we don't want to know your name?
That's
Anyway.
what I do. Yeah.
That's what you do. Okay, yeah. So whenever my mom goes, she gets a reading for me. I'm not there in Iran, and she brings it back. And
I love
then
that.
it's always kind of crazy dead on. But the couple readings that I've gotten, they both picked up on how I'm very spiritual. And I came in very spiritual. So that's always been consistent with everything. Yeah. But I'm like, I need that.
Like, duh, come
But
on.
but yeah, it just verifies it, just verifies.
Well,
it.
I mean, we're here kind of validating you. You are on a spiritual podcast.
That's true.
Just
Yeah.
putting that out there for you.
I love how you guys are psychic. I think that's the coolest thing. That's the coolest thing.
Well, I think it's cool that you think it is now, because my whole life it has not always been so cool.
Right. It's been our little secret in the closet, girl.
Yes.
But yeah, we
like
came out.
imagine dating. Like, it's hard
Mhm.
dating because your mom has all these criteria that he has to be this, he has to be that, he has to be this. Well, imagine that you're like psychic and you know how he's feeling and you know how he's thinking, and spirits are telling you things. And but then like, and sometimes like even spirits are telling you, no, please come, like be with my son because he needs you so much. So then you feel obligated to at least give him more of a chance that maybe you would have cut off that boundary. See, I even had found my boundaries with spirits because I was like doing favors for spirits here on earth. And
God.
I mean, everything turned out, it's a lesson and a blessing. So everything was for a reason, but I'm just dating as a medium is a little challenge.
That is a sitcom waiting to happen.
Girl,
that is a sitcom that I would watch.
Oh my God, where's Larry David?
I would never hide the fact that you're, psychics, because
you
especially
can't.
in my family, like if my mom found out that she had a friend that was psychic, she would never let you guys go. She would never let you guys go. She'd be like, can you, Dara, she would call you, Dara, can you do reading right now? And Dara, you'll be like, I just gave you one yesterday. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay again.
We do tea, coffee readings,
Yes.
I love it.
It's our culture.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's true. We did pick a good person.
Psychics.
Exactly. You're open to us. So we appreciate that. But yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a reading next week. How about that?
Yeah.
And maybe we'll gift one to mommy for her birthday.
Yeah,
oh
really.
My gosh, she would go crazy. Loves it. She loves it. Yeah.
That's sweet.
And
love
she also
that.
loves massages. I don't know. Maybe she loves massages more. Who knows?
I'm that. I
gotta say.
Oh my God.
I got a coupon I need to use up, girl. Like seriously, by March 1st, I think.
Oh, girl. So we are just so appreciative that you just hung out with us and kind of vibed with us about, our boundaries, lack thereof, or what we've created because of it. If you want, just stick around a little bit longer. What we do every week is we are big on journaling. So we have like our real manifestation journals and good.
Yes,
thank God.
goddess.
there she is with her books, coming out with a book finally.
And I just want to say, Melissa, I heard you say every morning you write it down. And I always try to preach to people, there is power in that written word. So listen to all of us, please write it down.
1 page every day, I script.
I love that, Melissa.
I learned it from a YouTuber, and then it's from Jake Ducey. If you guys want to follow him, he has a free hypnosis. So I listen to his hypnosis to rewire my subconscious mind. And as I'm listening to his hypnosis, I journal, I script. I'm crazy.
No, that's amazing. Listen, Melissa.
My boyfriend is still with me.
That's it. We have men too, believe it or not, they stick around. No, yeah. Melissa, that's such a powerful way. That's one of the ways that people tune in. So that's wonderful. I love that you do that. So this week, what I want us to kind of think about, we've been talking about boundaries, letting go, humor as a great way to tap in and just kind of let go. But what I want you to think about is, where in your life do you need stronger boundaries? So remember, you're thinking boundaries are to solve a problem. Like if you feel your energy is depleted, you obviously need some time boundaries. If you feel that you are not heard, you need some boundaries maybe within your partnership. So thinking about how can you create them and then follow through with them. And we all kind of spoke to different ways we've created boundaries for ourselves. So just really go in and ask yourself that. And then I want you to think about, I think this is so important and we don't put enough emphasis on this. How can you create more enjoyment in your life? How can you laugh? How can you bring comedy into your life? I mean, we've had a year, honey. I mean, the year of all years is what we have endured. And if you have not found a way to laugh through it, I don't know what you've been doing. I mean, I know you've been crying. I know you've been having panic attacks in the closet, but like, you have to find that moment to laugh. That's what it's about. And, you know, Melissa has been speaking to that this whole time. And
I just want to say, Amy, that's beautiful that you said too, because I had a client about 3-4 weeks ago that it was really about, there's such a similarity between laughter and pain and tears. And sometimes just because you're smiling doesn't always mean you're happy. Sometimes it just means you're brave. But then it's also finding that laughter in your sad times. You know, when someone passes on, it's an unfortunate situation, of course. But if we can celebrate their life and find the laughter and joy of the moments that we shared with them, it allows us to help begin healing and remember that person how they want to be remembered. So I completely agree. In every moment, there's room to find laughter and joy.
Absolutely.
100%.
And then kind of, we've been also speaking about letting go. So what do you need to let go of? And after you think about what you need to let go of, like, I'm a little bit of a control freak. So there's a lot of things I need to let go of. So I baby step them and I'm like, okay, can I really control this? Do I need to control this? Is this control about me or about whatever it is? And I kind of ration through it and try and figure it out. And then I start thinking about, okay, if I need to let go of this, what steps do I need to take in order to be able to actually let go, right? Like I can't just say, okay, I'm done. I'm not angry anymore. I'm going to let go of my anger. It's gone. No. So what do I need? I need to identify like what the trigger is and then kind of backward plan from that trigger. Well, this upsets me when, so I need to put some supports in place to figure out how I can not get so upset. So maybe I need to take a deep breath the minute I see it, or maybe I need to phone a friend. Maybe I, go through these things and think to yourself, what is it that you really just want to release that is no longer for you? It's not helping you. It's just hurting you. So thinking about that and then just planning out, what do I need to let go of this,
And like Melissa said, it's daily. It's every moment of every day. You're going to be tried and you're going to be tried again and you're going to be tried again. So that's where the lessons come in, is those little daily confrontations or discussions, and it's being able to stay in your peace and putting that emotional boundary so that we don't absorb the other people's energy, because they can only give us what they have inside of them to give us. So keep your energetic boundaries protected. Really, it's important at this time.
It is, yeah, very important. So yeah, thank you, Melissa. We were just so blessed to have you. So happy to have someone bring and normalize more spirituality and bring it to the comedy world. So thank you. And
you guys for having me. Thank you guys. What a lovely chat. I learned a lot. And now Amy gave us homework. Thank you, Amy.
Yes, girl. Miss Dascola does not play. Miss Dascola is always still here secretly somewhere. So yeah, please do your homework. And your other homework is to find our girl Melissa on social media. Where can we find you, girl? Tell us.
Yeah, so if you guys are on Instagram, that's easiest. It's just at Mel Shoshahi. So if you guys see my last name here, so because my last name is really hard to spell.
Why don't you spell it? Because we're also
yeah,
just audio.
It's Mel, and then last name is Shoshahi. So it's at Mel Shoshahi. Yeah, and I try to post as much as I can. Yeah, that's about it. And if you guys have requests, if you ever are like, oh, make a video about this or a topic about this, I'm always open to it.
Girl, really don't even tell me that, because
I know, don't tell us that.
Lists.
I am kind of open to it. I've opened it up. I really have, but I'm not asking everybody. Like, I'm going to ask like a few friends, like, especially like you guys, like maybe like there's something certain about spirituality, you know, that you're like, oh, this is so weird. I'd love to see a story about this. I'd be like, oh, maybe. Yeah. I'm open to it.
I love that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Engage your audience.
Yes. Lightworker goddess vibes. Like, I love it. That's lightworker comedian. Okay, we're gonna vibe, definitely.
Lightworker comedian. Does lightworker mean like I weigh very little?
Yes. That is also the benefit of becoming a light worker. You instantly gain all your earthly pounds. There's nothing.
I only weigh 100 pounds. I'm a light worker.
Oh my God, girl. Thank you. Yes, I wish
Thank you guys.
So Amy, yes, Melissa.
Go ahead, Amy. I was going to say, let them know where they can find you, girl.
You can find me also on Instagram as my biggest media, I guess you would say. And you can find me at Amy Dascola Medium, and on Instagram, Facebook, and amydascola.com. And you can find us at thesoultribes.com and anywhere you find podcasts and YouTube. Please subscribe, like, send us to your mother, send us to anyone who will listen. Go ahead, Dara. Tell us where we can find you.
As you know, IG, again, one of my favorites, because you can connect with all my sites at DARAJEWETT at Dara Jewett. So like, subscribe, like she said, literally you have to follow Melissa. Get your daily dose of laughter in your life, and just really get clear about creating those boundaries in your life. Write it down, figure out what is feeling uncomfortable, find out what feels great. And those are going to be the keys for you to know what boundaries you have to create. So
absolutely. Well, thank you guys. And thank you, Melissa. We just loved having you.
It was an honor to be a guest on your show. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace, light, and love.
All right. Bye, guys. Take care. Have a good week.